Boing.
Welcome to
Hello,
our channel.
children.
Oh, will you stop it?
We had a lovely sleep, and now we're back.
Welcome to our channel.
Yes.
So, we have just finished recording our Disneyland Paris haul, and now we're going to talk to you. It's going to be kind of just a general chit chat, a sort of trip review and what's coming up and so on. So, as you may have known, if you've watched the series, we have recently returned from a trip to Disneyland Paris. We were really looking forward to it, a bit apprehensive because we have been really sort of staying very shielded and COVID safe and whatever for a long time now. And so for us it was quite a big deal. The only other place we've actually been was when we went on our staycation with Dad, which obviously was out in Surrey, in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have to sort of be around other people or whatever. So this was quite a big thing for us to actually go and do. Obviously I shielded throughout the pandemic due to all my lung condition. And then obviously we all know what happened with Gary and his whole heart attack situation and everything. So there was a lot going on, and this was something we were really looking forward to, but also a little bit apprehensive. So first of all, I want to say that travelling on the Eurotunnel was really good, except for me being next to the locked in at the toilet stairwell bit, yeah. But other than that,
bad design.
it was.
You've got a really small car, it'd be okay, but that one was quite.
But we've learnt from that, and if we go on and go to load again, and we end up looking like we'll hold back a bit, and if it looks like we're going to pull up next to that, then I'll speak to somebody and say,
we'll be saying no, no, no.
I don't want to be trapped in there again.
We won't be parking there, sir.
But I have to say the Eurotunnel itself was fantastic, very quick. I mean, I didn't have any issues with it other than that. That was the only issue I had with it in the whole thing. Very quick.
We did a downstairs and an upstairs, didn't we?
Yeah, we did downstairs, going upstairs, coming back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so.
I would highly recommend the Eurotunnel to anybody. The actual trip on the roads were pretty good, pretty clear.
Yeah, French roads are quite impressive actually.
Yeah.
They clearly spend some of their money on their roads because they're all smooth.
Yeah.
And there's not much in the way of holes.
Tolls are easy to navigate. Take card or cash, or obviously you can get the Imovis pass and put that up, but we obviously didn't do that. The only difficult thing is the fact that it's on the non-driver side, and I kept forgetting to take my seatbelt off, and I couldn't hang out of the car far enough.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. And
So,
the belt locks up as well, didn't you? Try and do it.
So, but other than that, it's a really easy, straightforward run, and it's kind of almost
like... If you've got like a massively abnormally long left arm, you could probably do it. So if anybody out there with a 5-foot left arm, you're fine.
It's almost like two main roads and one smaller road. And
if you're on your own, that'd be quite impossible actually. You'd actually have to get out of your seat.
I think they've got, if you looked, they had tolls that had like left and right.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, but you just always went to my one because...
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
As I say, if you go on your own, you've had it. You're never going to get
No, it's not that at all. No, they do have them on both sides. It's just that Gary he gets a bit panicky. He doesn't want to do it.
So if you've got two really, really long arms and a left-hand drive car, you'll be able to use that one as well. No, sorry, that one.
Digress. So, yeah. We stayed off site. I looked at lots of reviews. They had really good reviews. The reason we decided to stay off site was because financially we're trying to cut back as best we can because of our sort of personal circumstances, Gary's job and so on, which doesn't exist anymore, and everything. But
Gary's not job.
Yeah. So we decided to stay off site because we did look up the prices for staying on site as we've done in the past.
Yeah.
And the prices have actually, I mean, I know Florida prices, everyone's saying how much they've gone up. And I know generally across the whole country, things have gone up holiday wise. But the prices for staying on site had gone up so much. And I even rang through to France about 3 times, didn't I, on the Infinity Pass helpline.
Yeah.
Because you obviously get a good hotel discount with the Infinity Pass. So I even rang up to find out about them. Now I know the later you leave it, the less of a discount you get. The longer the longer a distance between you actually booking and going, you get a bigger discount. because it's like a tier system, and they have so many rooms at 50% off, and then so many at 40, and so on.
A bit like the seats used to be on the train.
Yeah. However, I know we'd left it sort of reasonably late to decide to go, but the discount was. It still wasn't. It was still probably about 3 times what we've paid before.
Yeah.
I mean, it was triple what we were paying for off-site.
Yeah,
almost,
it wasn't just a little bit more. It was just. Like,
it was a huge amount more.
when you think back to the days when we've stayed on, we've done David Crockett's, obviously.
Yeah.
We like
that was back when we had the girls
more of an
with us.
on-site. We've done Sequoia Lodge a few times.
Yeah, I mean, when we first went to
And that
Sequoia
was
Lodge,
sort of affordable, and we even treated ourselves for a few occasions to the Golden Forest Club as well.
back in sort of 2017, 2018, we did
You know,
that.
which for those extra little benefits, which was well worth it. But I mean, now.
Well, we
it's
were
just
looking back
unbelievable.
at how much it had cost us with the Infinity Pass for one of our Sequoia Lodge trips for like 8 days. And 8 days wasn't anywhere near what they were charging this time. Or 8 nights, wasn't it? 8 nights. It was nowhere near what they were charging this time for only 5 nights. I mean, the 5 nights was probably double what we'd paid before for 8.
Yeah.
So things have really gone up. But we decided to off-site. We did have a few niggles to begin with, but I have to say, I think that was more us at that point, because we were
I mean,
really.
If you look back on it now, it wasn't really a major issue, but I think because it was like the culmination of that day, it was all a bit tired and a bit stressed out.
Yeah,
It was
I
all
mean,
a bit like,
we turned up, there was no safe, and I went downstairs, and obviously the phone didn't work. I mean, the phone we never got resolved, but
didn't bother with that.
no. But the I went down to reception about the safe, and they literally sent somebody up, and he was, you know, there almost before I got there, wasn't he? He sort of like turned up and went, "Yep, I'll get that sorted." Literally disappeared.
The guy turned up with his brand new safe.
Yeah, he disappeared, came back
and a
literally
bag of tools and
within like a minute. He came back with another safe, didn't he? With a new safe, and did it all. So, and then obviously when the shelf went as well, he came back and did that. So, you know, I can't.
But even that
them
wasn't
there.
really. I mean, that was. I mean, there's like pins in there. There's like pins in the vertical. The shelf sits on the pins.
I think the other...
And there was one of the pins missing. And there was an iron on there, so I went to touch the iron, and the whole thing just went plop.
Yeah.
Dropped out off.
Which was lucky the iron didn't fall on him.
No safe. Now the shelves are falling off on me.
But I think the other thing for me was when I opened the cupboards to look round at what we had, the mugs all had like dirty marks in them. They had like tea stains and coffee stains and whatever. And there's a little dishwasher there, so
yeah, no excuse.
I know that's like the people who've left before probably didn't clean it all and whatever. However,
so if he was the last person to stay in our room.
Yeah. However, I think the hotel themselves should have checked all that, and they obviously didn't. So it was just little things like that, really, and the fact there wasn't much storage. But you know, other than that, it was fantastic.
Yeah, there was no silk slippers. I was very upset.
Yeah, we don't go for
No
that.
silk slippers.
Anyway,
not an onion to be seen.
So, and Gary was panicking before we went about the parking as well, and the parking was fantastic. There was so much parking.
Oh yeah, loads of it. Yeah.
So that was good. Disneyland Paris itself. Now, the reason we originally bought our Infinity Passes was because there are no blackout days. They are 365 days a year. Go whenever you want. And that was good for us because then we could be spontaneous. We can't always plan to go away because of the way our life is and the commitments we have here. Sometimes we have to be a bit more spontaneous. So for us, that was brilliant. Obviously, with that, you get bigger discounts and everything else. So that all added up to us to be worthwhile. Obviously, since the pandemic, things have changed. And even though now there's no sort of restrictions on capacity or numbers, they have kind of self-governed with capacity. And as you'll know now, if you've watched the series, we have actually purchased new annual passes to carry on. But the reason we did that, we sat and discussed it at length, and we thought we've got another whole year that we can use them in. And it kind of, because we're going to be being a bit more careful financially on what we do and where we go and so on, we thought if we purchased them, it would almost force us to have a break, because otherwise I think it's easy to slip into that. We can't spend any money, we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything. And I think it is really important to have that balance of existing and living. So we decided that we would go for it, and also if we renewed them there and then before our ones run out, they gave us a 15% discount. So anyone who's got an annual pass if you renew it whilst your pass is still valid, they will give you a 15% discount. And in the old days when we've gone to renew our passes, if we've been a couple of weeks or a month early, the new ones have started from that date, haven't they? But they've given us extra months. Whereas this time your old pass still runs exactly to the date it runs out, and the new ones at 15% off will run from the next day consecutively from that one. So we did decide, because we worked it out with the exchange rate, with the 15% off and so on, it worked out just under £1 a day. So, you know, that was how we broke it down and sort of decided to do it. But we were chatting to the lady who very kindly stayed there to sort our passes out for us. And we were saying how, you know, we'd booked the 3 days, because obviously you can only book three days. We'd been lucky enough we'd booked the Monday, the Tuesday and the Thursday, because when I booked originally, the Wednesday wasn't available. It did become available while we were there, so we managed to do that. I did book for the Friday, but we never got it. And I think for Gary, you've been quite cross about that, haven't you? Because, you know, the whole point of an infinity pass is you can go whenever you want.
Yeah, it's a bit niggly.
So that's the only, and that's the thing about staying off-site as well, is if you stay off-site, then you can only book your 3 days. Once you've used one day, you can book another one if it's available, or go on the waiting list. If you stay in a Disney hotel, then you get guaranteed entry to the park. And I think that's how they're managing to inflate the prices, to be honest. So we were chatting to the lady who was giving us the new passes, and she said they've had a lot of feedback from people who are getting quite upset that they've bought the top tier pass. They can only get in 3 days, and it's no different from the lowest tier pass, and therefore, in a way, you're kind of losing the whole thing about not having blackout days is you can go whenever you want.
Yeah.
But if you can't get booked in, then it's almost like having blackout days. So she did say that they were looking into extending it so that the top tier pass would be allowed to book more days, and it would be on a sort of a pro rata sort of on the different passes. Now, we were told recently by a friend of ours that apparently Disneyland California are looking at doing that, and they're looking at extending the amount of days you can book for top tier. So I'm hoping that Disneyland Paris will bring that in soon.
Yeah, they need to. Otherwise it's almost pointless having it.
Yeah, I mean, you get the bigger discounts and everything, but if you can't get in the park,
that's why we bought it. We bought that because we can't plan, sometimes we can't always plan like a year, 2 years ahead. You know, it's almost like, can we manage it next month or in a couple of weeks? So you need
that flexibility.
You need infinity passes for that.
Yeah.
Otherwise you can end up being able to go when you can't go.
Mm.
So
so that was
good.
That was something that was a bit of a niggle and something. But when she said that they were hoping to change that, and we asked her why they were restricting, because obviously because of COVID now, you know, there isn't the restriction on numbers. And she said that Disneyland Paris themselves have made a restriction on the numbers, sheerly because the park is becoming so popular and so many people are visiting that the wait times on the rides are becoming huge. And she said if we let everybody in to full capacity, the waits on all the rides will be about 2 hours. So that's why they're restricting it they're limiting the numbers so they can keep the ride times to a reasonable level, which I can understand, and I understand
I get that.
why they're doing that. But if you're going to buy an infinity pass, you really want to have some benefit from that.
Yeah. I mean, either let us get in whenever we want, or give us a massive discount on it.
Yeah. So that was our only.
At the moment.
Sorry.
Which they're doing neither of.
No, at the moment, but hopefully going forward, something to watch. So that was the only niggle really. I mean, the actual park itself, we were quite surprised. There was still a reasonable amount of people wearing masks on rides and things when they were indoors. Yeah. We felt pretty COVID safe there. We were a bit worried about it, to be honest, and we'd already made an agreement before we went that if we went and it was too busy somewhere or the queue was too long and it was indoors, that we would say, okay, we'll come back another time, or we would only do things we both felt comfortable doing. And actually, I don't think there was anything we felt uncomfortable with, was there? We didn't go into some of the more crowded restaurants and things, but those that we did go in, we felt that it was actually done pretty
Yeah,
well,
pretty
and they'd
good.
spread people
Pretty
out.
well spaced out.
So we were quite, we felt a lot more comfortable than we anticipated feeling. We did pop our masks on and off as and when.
I mean, a couple of, like, what do you call it? Phantom Manor, that's the one.
Yeah.
Like Phantom Manor. Obviously, that's indoors for quite a long time. We did it there, but I mean, like, Big Thunder. There was no need because you're getting blown to pieces anyway. Anything else that's outside, it's just like there's no point because I mean, you're not going to pick up anything from that really unless you're really unlucky.
No, and we were looking at the
we
whole
just
sort of science of it with the viral load and how long you've got to be around people. And
I mean, it's nice not to have to think about it all the time because we've all been thinking about it for a long time now.
Yeah.
But it's probably sensible not to completely throw caution to the wind.
No, so we were trying to find that balance.
A bit more secure.
Yeah.
As it were.
Yeah. I mean, I think, they still give announcements out and say if you're watching the parade or the fireworks and you're all in close proximity, please still wear a mask. Most people didn't. There were a few people who did. I mean, there was more people who did than didn't. Sorry, no, that's wrong. What I mean is there was more people that did than I expected to. That's what I meant to say there.
Yeah, it was quite a lot there, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to see
hardly anyone.
I thought it would just be us two, but there was actually quite a lot of people pretty much doing what we were doing when they were on indoor things.
Yeah. So we were quite pleased on that front. Most of the sanitising hand gel machines didn't work. That was the only thing.
Probably because they've run out.
They've all run out, and nobody was replacing them. But we had our own anyway, so that's not an issue.
You had a massive backpack full of it, a bit like Ghostbusters.
No, you didn't.
I was just spraying stuff everywhere.
No. And Gary's not good with those things anyway, because whenever he presses them, they always seem to end up shooting everywhere.
Yeah, the one in the hotel.
He's the only person that happens to.
The one in the hotel next to the lift actually went sideways about 6 foot, and I went like that. And it went. So it didn't get me, but it would have squirted someone who was queuing up as well. If they'd been there, they've had it all over their stomach and everywhere. I mean, covered in stuff.
So I think
ectoplasms.
It was quite busy, to be honest. The ride times, I think, to be honest, it wasn't really any different from any other time that we've been when it's been reasonably busy.
They weren't really that bad.
They weren't that. I mean, there were times when they were.
Not to get on anything, but they weren't. I mean, it took a long time, it took a day, but we did actually manage to get on quite a lot of things.
I mean, sometimes it'd say like 20...
peaks and troughs, didn't there?
Yeah,
sometimes
it'd say like 25 minutes, and you'd look at the queue and think, no way is that 25 minutes. But for some reason, they seem to be getting through things quicker. Yeah. So it was 25 minutes.
Well, we did a walk on with Pirates one day. We literally
but that was in the evening, quite late.
We literally just walked in. I mean, it took us as long as it takes to walk through that walk-through bit, we would have called it. It's got a name, isn't it? The going in bit. The going in bit where you go in and you walk along the going in bit, it ends up being on the ride.
It did the same as it's done before. I mean, we didn't go in for extra magic hours except for the morning that we went to buy the spirit jerseys for Ed and me. We didn't do the extra magic hours just because we were a bit knackered and we didn't get up in time and so on. But we did find in the evening things started to sort of slope off a bit like they used to.
Yeah, it's all manageable.
And I think, silly things like when the parade is on, good time to go.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I'm not a big parade fan.
The thing is, we've seen that parade. It's the same parade, isn't it?
I'm not a massive parade fan, which is quite handy because the way I look at it is when the parade's there, when there's a million, God knows how many thousands of people lining those streets watching that parade, that leaves loads of gaps on the rides for me. Yeah.
I mean, I like to watch the parades. However, that particular one we have seen many times. So, the main parade, Disney Stars on Parade, we tend to go and do other stuff while they go and eat.
Create a massive distraction. I'll just go round and say, God, there's loads of free cash down Main Street. They're just literally throwing it out the windows. Go to Main Street, it's free money on the floor. They all rush there. You go on Pirates, Big Thunder Mountain, anything you want, it's all done. Then come back and go, ha, not really.
Anyway. While Gary goes into his little fantasy world, so I think... It's
an idea, though, isn't it?
The only other
giving
thing,
out free money over there.
The only other thing we were disappointed with, Lucky Nugget Saloon. Now, that's one of our favourites. Always a big queue outside. You always think, oh God, and they get in the queue and literally 5-10 minutes and you're in there. They're always really quick, really clean. We always have the fish and chips in there, and we used to love that fish and chips. Okay, and it was nice properly cooked.
And it loved us.
Yeah, nice crispy batter, nice chunky fresh chips. So it was kind of oven chips and one of those, I don't know how to describe it, like a pappy sort of, like the sort of things you get in the boxes that you stick in the oven. And it's.
But then we've had some of those, and they've been not bad actually.
Yeah, but this was really
not a particularly good one.
It was just like eating pap.
It was a bit like.
It was mushy.
It was like yesterday's pizza.
Yeah, it was mushy, and it was clearly just, you know, other.
Yeah, when it was edible, don't get me wrong.
Other brands are available, but kind of like a bird's eye, kind of you get in the oven cod in a box type thing.
Bird's eye. I thought bird's eye was the best.
Well, yeah, but you know the sort of thing. I'm just saying that, for example, that the oven cod.
I used to look up to Captain Birdseye when I was a child, only because he was tall, of course.
Anyway, what I'm saying is, it was obviously like it wasn't a fresh fish and chips, so we were a little bit disappointed with that.
It was edible, but it wasn't as good as it wasn't that.
It's still a lovely place to go.
Crispy, like it was swimming 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Type thing.
It is a lovely place to go.
The chips were like, they were oven
chips.
They were plants, you know. They used to be just like, you know, someone just took it out of the ground and sliced it and fried it for us.
They were kind of very dry and powdery.
Everything was very, very rubbery.
Yeah, the chips were dry and powdery, and the fish, it was oven stuff.
Yeah, hopefully
it was basically oven.
That was a bad day.
So we're hoping that was a blip.
Because we probably will go there again.
Maybe they'd run out of stuff or whatever, I don't know. But usually we'd say, yeah, Lucky Nugget, go there, it's brilliant. Service was brilliant, clean, they spread us all out. It was really nice other than that. So, yeah. So, now, obviously, we've got annual passes. And the Avengers Campus wasn't open when we were there. So we have booked a cheeky little trip. So I know we are trying to cut back on money, and I know that we are very fortunate that we are able to go again. And we know, especially with the way things are going with all the, you know, energy bill crisis and everything else, and the heat or eat, and we are kind of a little bit, should we be doing this? However, like I've said,
mind because the sun's out.
Yeah, but as we've said, there is that kind of, you've got to live, not exist, and it's that balance. So we are trying to balance.
Let's face it, about 10 months ago I was probably dead for about a minute
or more,
or maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And,
so it's kind of, you know, you get to our age.
That sort of put things into perspective a little bit.
And sometimes you have to just say, you know what, we need to have some fun time as well. So, excuse me. So we are going back. We're going back in a few weeks' time. Looks like this camera. So we are going back in a few weeks' time. We are going back to see the Avengers Campus. We wanted to wait until everything had died down a little bit and everyone's back at school and so on and so, because we don't have to go in the school holidays. So we have booked to stay at the same...
Because we're too old to go to school.
We have booked to stay at the same place that we stayed at before, the Staycity Aparthotel. We've booked a different room this time. We've actually booked a cheaper room. Now, last time it was still really reasonable, as I say, compared to being on site. But we booked it almost as soon as we came back in, and because it was something silly like a £15 deposit, wasn't it? And you could cancel right up until the day. So we thought, right, we'll book this just in case. And I also booked 3 park days. Now, when we stayed before, we had the separate mezzanine level with the bed on it.
It's a good word, that.
You like that word, don't you?
Mezzanine. Almost as much as a vestibule.
So we had that one, which was slightly more... It was the next price bracket up from the studio. Yeah. This time we've gone for the studio. We didn't see the point of needing a separate 1 bedroom because there's only us 2. We're not in the room that often. So
we sort of get on with each other.
Yeah, after 37 years. Yeah. Anyway.
We are well in love. Just can't leave each other. We're not inseparable.
Anyway.
Glued together with love.
Yeah, something like that. So we have gone for a a studio thing with the bed and everything. What we really wanted was like the fridge and all that kind of thing, just a little kitchenette.
Yeah, just to sleep in.
Because obviously we're taking a lot of our own food now because Gary's being very strict on what he does and doesn't eat and so on. So we wanted to be able to take our own food. So we thought, well, that would do for us, and it is a lot cheaper. So we're staying there again. It took us 8 minutes door to door to get to the park. Well, to get to the ticket area of the park. It then probably took about another half an hour for Gary to actually park the car, but that's neither here nor there. Obviously,
yeah, I've got to think about parking spaces.
Yeah, we've got the Infinity.
I do like to find one, but it has to be a good one.
We've got the Infinity passes, so we don't have to pay for parking. Which, by the way, parking now is €30.
Oh yeah, that's
€30.
That's a massive bonus of an annual pass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just Infinity though.
Yeah, you can actually purchase like yearly parking for €60 for the year on one of the next ones down. I think you can. Yeah.
Well, that's not bad. 60 for a year.
Yeah.
Well, you're paying 30 a day.
Yeah, that's if you've got the Magic Plus pass.
Oh, right, okay.
So I think it's the Magic Plus anyway. But with Infinity, you get the parking for nothing, which all included in it. So that's a big bonus.
We parked there a few times. Wouldn't take much to get your money back, would it? Really?
No, I mean this for us. Staying off site makes more sense because, as I say, it's much cheaper. We can use the annual pass for parking. It is door to door. It probably took us as long to drive there as it did for us to walk from the Sequoia before. So
yeah, it was really.
It was a very easy drive.
I was a bit anxious about driving initially. It's like when you're in a different country, you don't know where you're going. You're on the wrong side of the road.
We did look.
It was it was a really good drive actually.
Yeah, we did look at staying at the Davy Crockett Ranch because we thought it's on site, off site, if that makes sense. It's usually one of the cheaper ones.
Yeah.
We thought. Sorry.
Decro. People that are well versed in it just call it Decro.
No, they don't. They call it DCR actually.
Nah, Decro.
So we thought the thing with that is, again, we're still kind of trying to be COVID safe as best we can. So we thought, we're going on the Eurotunnel again, by the way. So we're in our own car driving. We're on the Eurotunnel.
We're not kissing.
And we thought that if we go to Davy Crockett's ranch, we've got our own lodge. We don't have to sort of interact or whatever with lots of other people, or each other, because there's 2 separate bedrooms. But anyway, and we rang up to find out about the Infinity Pass prices, and we were horrified at how much it was, and it was well over double, almost triple what we'd be paying to stay off site.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not including tickets or anything like that. And we thought, do you know what? I know that guarantees us getting into the park every day, but that's a huge premium
to really
pay.
justify all that extra money.
So we thought, do you know what? We're just going to say that we're going for, I should have said that, we're going for 6 nights this time. 6 nights, 7 days.
Yeah.
We've only got 3 park days booked. Fingers crossed we can book more, especially as I've actually booked meals for the other days.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. We'll have to give a call, so could you bring it up to the barrier? Can you bring it up to the gate?
No, it won't work like that.
Pass it through the fence.
Obviously, we'd have to cancel if we don't
pass
get those days.
through the fence for us, please?
But there was going to be some.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
There was going to be some firsts on this one.
They
But
can
anyway,
play, just put our arm through with a fork.
we're sort of digressing here again, going off track. But basically, we're staying at the Staycity Aparthotels again in a 1-bedroom. Well, not 1-bedroom, a studio apartment thing. So we've got the kitchen facilities. We're going to drive in. We've got our passes to use for parking. And yeah, so I have booked some restaurants. So there's going to be a few firsts for us this time. Despite the fact that we've been there, quite a few times, there's still things we haven't done in Disneyland Paris. We have booked Captain Jack's, which Gary loves. We didn't manage to get that last time. So we're going back to Captain Jack's to have a meal. Because Gary really loves that.
Can't see what I'm eating though, so.
No.
You have to sort of rely on your taste buds because you haven't got a clue what's going in your mouth.
We have booked Pim's Kitchen, but we've been talking about this and we've been saying we might cancel it because having watched some of the vlogs, we weren't overly impressed, and I think it's €42.
Yeah, it's quite a lot
each, and I don't know. I mean, there's obviously Gary's being very restrictive on how much he eats and what he eats at the moment. and we sort of looked at it and thought, is it really worth it?
Yeah,
So,
for us anyway.
And I just feel that the gimmicks and things that are in there are nice and good, but I don't think it's enough for us. We've booked Bistro Chez.
Yeah, theming. I think theming wise, it's good.
Yeah,
it looks pretty good. They themed it well, but it's but you've also got to sort of look beyond the theming.
Yeah.
Thinking, well, I'm actually coming here to eat something, so there's nothing I really like, and it's just all a bit gimmicky.
And a couple of people have told us that obviously, like, they have the giant food and then the small food. But if you get there later in the day, the giant food's had bits taken off it, so you don't really see.
No, you don't really see it. Yeah.
So that's one I'm deliberating at the moment. I've kept it at the moment because we're still deliberating, but I may well cancel that. We'll cancel that well in advance, so somebody else who's out there who really wants to go.
It's
will
probably
be able to
about
get
the
it.
same price as Captain Jack's. Captain Jack's, I know. Again, I've just said about theming. It is well themed, but I think, for me, with Captain Jack's is I like fish, and there's a lot of fish dishes in there.
Yeah.
So there's I mean, I've never not found something on that menu in Captain Jack's that I didn't like.
So we've got Bistro Chez Remy, which again we couldn't book last time, which is one of my favourites. Obviously Inventions I love, but Disneyland Hotel's not open. But Bistro Chez Remy, I just love it in there. I think the theming is just so on point. It's just so brilliant.
Yeah,
and
I have fish in there as well, actually.
Yeah,
just for a change.
but I just love that
soup. That really bright yellow carrot soup.
Yeah,
nice.
I just love the theming.
And ratatouille, of course.
The food is always really good in there, but the theming for me, I just love it. I just think it's brilliant. I just love it.
Obviously, you can see. Well, from most of it, you can see a bit of the ride as well, can't you?
Well, it depends on where you sit.
The start of the ride.
Yeah.
Or the entrance. You can see the entrance going into the ride, or you can actually see part of the ride itself.
Yeah. So we've also booked somewhere that I've always wanted to eat at, that we've never managed. It's either been closed when we've been there, or we've never managed to get a table. And I've managed to get a table at Waltz. Now, the problem is that's on one of the days that we haven't got booked in the park. So I am really hoping that we do get to go into the park. Obviously, again, like we were just saying about the annual passes, this is a thing. You know, there was like 5 or 6 full days that we wanted to do meals and everything.
Right.
I didn't want to risk not.
It's 5 to midnight.
It's not. I didn't want to risk not booking a meal in case we did get in, but equally, if we don't get in, I'm going to have to cancel them. So I'm gutted, but yeah, Waltz is one of the ones I've always wanted to go to, and that was going to be a belated anniversary meal for us. And so
that is, I mean, again, that is quite an expensive one, isn't it?
No more.
I'm sure that's one of the reasons why we.
No, it's not really much more expensive than Pim's Kitchen and that sort of thing. No. So, and the only other place we've booked to eat is, we decided that this time we wouldn't be unprepared like we were on the last trip. We haven't booked a park day on our travel day because we feel it's not really worth it, because by the time we get there it's late afternoon, and if we can only book 3, we might as well have 3 full days. Again, another thing that is a bit of a annoyance, that with the old annual pass you could just come and go as you pleased, and we could have got there and we could have had an evening in the park.
Yeah, I mean it is something. I don't know. I mean, they must have the stats for it, but it is something that, I think if they don't address it at some point, they will start to lose revenue over it. Because I'd certainly think.
We said that we'd do our annual passes this time just to make sure that we have something to look forward to, but we're not sure if we'd renew them again if things don't change. But anyway, we booked Hunter's Grill because, again, as you know, it's one of our favourites. It's always clean, it's always tidy, always a really good choice of food. The food's always fresh. Staff in there are amazing, very attentive.
What was that? Sorry, I missed that.
Hunter's Grill.
Oh yeah.
That's the night we arrive. So we've done that so that we don't have the same situation where we arrive and think, where are we going to eat? Everywhere's booked. Everywhere's, in the village. There's big queues.
Yeah, that is really nice, isn't it?
So we will arrive.
There's lots of fish as well.
We're travelling on a Sunday, as we did before. We hope to arrive sort of early afternoon. We'll book into the hotel and then we'll have a mooch into the village. We'll go and eat at Hunter's Grill, and then just chill out and have a look around the shops.
This should be a lot more fluid.
Because we know what to expect.
We've used to drive there a lot, but we haven't driven there for years. But obviously we've now done it. a few weeks back or whatever it was. And now we're doing it again. We know exactly where we're going. We know what the hotel's got to offer. We know there's parking there. We know how to get to the park.
And it would be nice to sort of compare the room as well, because this, as I say, is a cheaper room. If you excuse us keep moving, but we're starting to get really numb bums. And also,
it's like sitting on a steak.
We have some,
not like one that comes from a cow. I mean, like, you know, a wooden steak.
So we also have some
That's
friends.
been blunted a little bit.
We have some friends that are travelling out at the same time as us, so we are hoping to be able to meet up with them.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be,
and you know, we'll have some time together, some time apart, but hopefully we should have a few giggles along the way. So that should be really good fun. We're looking forward to that. Yeah, I don't know what else we can tell you really, but looking forward to going back. It would be lovely to be able to go back for the Christmas season, because I love Christmas, but I'm not sure that that's possible. We're finding it difficult at the moment because we don't have a dog sitter. My dad, bless him, has offered to have Pablo, but it's difficult with walking and things like that. And even though he'll be 10 this year, Pablo, which I can't believe.
Well, your dad.
Yeah, no. Pablo will be 10 this year.
He started really young.
Yeah, I can't believe he'll be 10 in October, but...
I'll be 10 in October.
He acts like a 10-year-old.
Jelly, ice cream.
Yeah. But to be honest, he still acts like a puppy. He still acts like a puppy, and he's not Gary, Pablo.
I'll run around and lick everything and poo on the floor.
Pablo doesn't poo on the floor. Well, he does, but not in the house. But anyway, yeah, he still acts like a puppy. He still wants lots of walks and attention, and he's quite bouncy still. So
like me then.
He's quite hard work, yeah, like Gary. So yeah, it's, you know, money, commitments, and all that. But we'll see how we go. But we thought, at least if we do this trip, by the time we've looked at what we would have paid for park tickets to get in if we'd bought them outside of an annual pass, and meals, what we save on the meals, because you get 15% off of your meals, and 20% off your purchases, and then the €30 a day parking. By the time we add all that up, hopefully they would have paid for themselves, and anything after that will be a bonus.
Yeah, they will.
So yeah, right.
Yeah, this trip will probably pay for those. I reckon.
Right, well, it depends on how much merch we buy, which hopefully I'm not going to buy much this time.
Pin normally.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions about Disneyland Paris...
Don't ask him.
Don't ask him, because he knows nothing.
Disneyland? What? Disney what?
No, seriously.
Disneyland Paris?
Seriously, if you've
Where
got...
is it?
If you've got any questions that you want to know, anything about Disneyland Paris, then obviously just pop a comment down below, and we'll try and answer them to the best of our ability. Things have changed a little bit, but fundamentally things are quite similar. We're quite looking forward to seeing the Avengers campus, because from what everyone said, it is really lovely.
Yeah, it looks quite impressive.
I won't be going on the Avengers ride. I will be going on the Spider-Man one, because I do want to do the old...
I mean, I never did that before. When that was the...
Rock and roller coaster.
Rock and roller coaster. I hadn't actually done that anyway. So
no, but we won't be doing that one. But we will be doing the Spider-Man one. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I've gone out and bought some material to make myself some Spider-Man ears, just for the occasion. So
yeah, and I've got Spider-Man leotard I'm going to wear.
On that note, I'm going to say goodbye.
Let's hope it's not too hot. Not going to let chafing, do we?
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Bye, children. Time for bed.
I was going to say,
Mother's calling.
If you like what you've seen, then subscribe, but maybe not. Yeah, do the usuals for us. Subscribe, like, share, notification bell, all that jazz. I mean, we're slowly
sort of jazz you keep speaking of.
We're slowly getting back
in. What is jazz?
We're slowly getting back into this. We sort of obviously had a very, very big break, didn't we, from all of this. Our watch hours plummeted, obviously, because we hadn't put anything up for a long time. So we're slowly getting back into it now. And as I say, this next trip, even though it's back to Disneyland Paris again, which I know we've just been and so on, but there are some firsts for us. So watch this space.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. Look after each other. Be
kind. For supper.
Be kind to each other. And we'll see you soon. Hopefully the next one you see should be Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, after this one, of course.
Obviously. Do keep up, Gary.
Yeah.
Right, well, thank you for watching, and we'll let you go now.
Yeah, thanks a lot, love.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.